Are you a senior citizen or a senior saint, as I've heard some folks call it? If you are, you've likely lived in your home for 10, 15, or 20 plus years, meaning it has been quite some time since you last sold a home. And let me tell you, there have been a lot of changes in the business of selling properties. This year alone, we've seen a massive overhaul to the contracts and disclosures that are required when selling property here in Ventura. And in today's video, we're going to cover the changes that you need to be aware of when preparing your home for sale. Let's get into it. The biggest change that you need to be aware of is everything is electronic. I'm talking specifically about electronic signatures or e-signatures. Most agents are going to attempt to have you sign the listing agreement, the listing contract electronically using a third-party provider such as DocuSign. DocuSign makes my life as an agent very easy, but it can also be used by agents to rush home sellers through the process of signing a listing contract. Let me explain. When you're signing a listing contract using a third-party provider like DocuSign, you're prompted to complete the first signature block, and as soon as you do, the software immediately jumps you down to the next signature block, skipping over important text, terms, and conditions in that contract. And that is where the problem is. You should only be signing a listing contract once you've had a chance to fully read and digest it, understanding every term and condition that was put in there. At the very least, I suggest that you ask the listing agent to send you a PDF copy of that contract before using DocuSign to complete it. A PDF version can be opened up on your desktop computer at home, and you can actually expand it, making it easier to read. You're also going to have an easier time printing out a PDF copy at home on your home printer than you would a different file format. What if you don't have an email address though? Or what if you just simply want to sign the contract in person? There is nothing wrong with asking the realtor to print out the entire contract and to meet you in person to review all the terms and conditions and to ultimately provide a wet signature. This will probably annoy some agents, but that's okay. If they're annoyed by this simple request, then they're probably not the right agent for you anyways. Remember, you're the homeowner, you're in control. Don't sign anything until you've had a chance to fully read and understand what it is you're being asked to sign. This is something you're going to run into that wasn't around 20 years ago, and that is the Lockbox Realtor. A lot of agents are putting lockboxes on their listings these days. They're going to tell you that they don't have time to show all of their own listings, or that it's just simply more convenient for buyers and their agents, or that maybe buyers aren't comfortable with the listing agent being present. My position is, why am I being hired if not to be present during showings to show the home, to sell the home to prospective buyers? Now, scheduling conflicts may occur, but that's why I work with a licensed, competent assistant who is able to show properties in the rare event that I'm just simply tied up and can't be there myself. There are also safety concerns when using lockboxes. If a buyer and their agent are in your home without you, without me also being present, who's to say that that buyer isn't walking through the home, unlocking doors and windows for nefarious reasons? Okay, that may be unlikely, but what if the buyer looks in your freezer and then doesn't shut the door all the way? You happen to be out of town for the weekend, and then you have a burnt out motor on your freezer. The point is, the realtor that you're hiring to sell your home should be present for showings. This is both for safety and just for practical reasons. Another big change over the last 20 years or so is how realtors build out their teams. There are realtors who operate big teams with 6 or more licensed agents working underneath them. They run a well-oiled machine, churning out sales left and right, go, go, go. And there are small teams or boutique teams with 1 lead realtor supported by a licensed assistant or 1 to 2 licensed agents. That is how I choose to operate my business, because it allows me to offer a white glove level service, a concierge level service to my clients. And there are solo realtors who work alone and they kind of run the show on their own. Any of these different team structures may work well for you, but if you're older, a big team may not be something that you're exactly comfortable with. You may think that you're hiring the incredible lead realtor whose face is plastered on every bus bench in town, only to be handed off to a junior agent on the team once the contract is signed. That junior agent may be less personable. They prefer to text over having phone calls or meeting in person. These big teams usually love to use DocuSign. They love to use their lockboxes. The focus can be more on the churn and how many units did we sell, and less on the client service. If you work with a small boutique team, you're more likely to have a better overall customer experience. If you need more hand-holding or you prefer to have meetings in person, a small boutique team is probably the right fit for you. The only downside to solo agents, and let me be clear, there are many tremendous solo agents in this industry, but the one downside is they may be too busy to do private showings or too busy to give you the time and attention that you want. So when you're interviewing realtors, ask them if they operate on a team? How big is that team? Or are they solo? Let them know that you don't want to just be rushed through this process, and ask them, are they capable of providing the level of service and communication that you're looking for? I always recommend that home sellers interview at least 3 agents so they can get kind of a good feel for who's going to be the best fit for them. If you're at this stage in the process and you're preparing to interview realtors, check out this video that I made highlighting questions that you should ask realtors during the interview process. I'll also link it down below. It should be no surprise that the amount of paperwork, the amount of disclosures that are required in a real estate transaction is just bananas. Look at this. Okay, this will make you want to pull your hair out, right? But don't let this overwhelm you. In fact, this is required in every real estate transaction here in California. It's actually required by law. And the best way to start tackling these is to simply sit down and just start writing or start typing. Write down any material fact about the home that may impact a buyer's willingness to purchase that property. You had a roof leak 2 years ago, you patched it up, you repaired it, everything's fine now. Write that down. Your home was burglarized and your spouse's handbags and jewelry were stolen. Write that down. Your neighbor filed a lawsuit against you affecting the property. Write that down. At some point, you're going to ask yourself, does this particular fact or item actually need to be disclosed? The best advice that I can give you is to put yourself into the buyer's shoes. Is this something that you wish you would have been aware of before buying the home? If the answer is yes, write it down. I have yet to see a seller sue a buyer, but I have seen plenty of buyers sue sellers, and they are typically suing over disclosures, or more specifically, something that was not disclosed by the seller before the transaction was completed. Stuff. Americans love their stuff. I love my stuff. If you have lived in your home for more than a decade, you likely have a lot of stuff. I would know. I'm going in and out of homes all day, every day, and I see the stuff. Now, I'm not trying to be rude here, but nobody wants your stuff. Your kids or your grandkids may want an item or two, but for the most part, they have plenty of their own stuff and quite simply don't have the space for your stuff. Definitely ask them, see if they'll take anything off your hands for you, but at some point, you're gonna have to just start getting rid of some of your stuff. And that is okay. That's part of the process as you begin to declutter your home and prepare it for sale. A quick note on this topic, a lot of home sellers have large pieces of furniture. These are usually, beautiful, ornate, antique pieces of furniture, the type of stuff that was built to last a lifetime. A lot of my clients lately have had a hard time finding buyers for these pieces. In fact, they've even had a hard time finding donation centers that are willing to accept them for free. So just don't be surprised if you have a difficult time finding a home for this furniture. And if ultimately your only option is to send it to the dump, be prepared because trash hauling services are going to be much more expensive than you think. But before you get to that point, let me know which pieces you're having a difficult time with, and I'll see if I can help find a home for it. One phone call that I get pretty often is, hey Grant, my husband and I have lived here for 20 years. We raised our family here. Some of the things in our home are dated. Should we hire a designer to get them updated? Or, maybe we should hire a contractor to repair some of the items that we simply put off over the years. What do we do? I want to tackle the first question first, the one about cosmetic updates. I typically recommend that at the very least, you have the interior of your home freshly painted, and you don't need a designer for that. One light neutral color throughout the entire interior of your home will really work wonders. Anything beyond that may be too overwhelming. Heck, maybe even painting your home is too overwhelming. If so, that is okay. In that case, the best thing that you can do is to price your home according to its condition. Now, regarding any repairs or deferred maintenance, let's say you have a leaky roof, fix it. Or a loose toilet, fix it. You have a broken window, fix it. The basic operating systems of your home should be functioning properly. That is what buyers are going to expect as they're writing offers on your home. A properly functioning home is the most important thing. That's where I would focus my efforts and attention. A dated home, we can kind of work around that. At the end of the day though, if you don't have the time or the resources for your repairs, let me know. My Rolodex is full of developers, of fix and flippers. They're always on the hunt for homes with deferred maintenance or homes that have not been cosmetically updated in 20 years, I can bring you an all cash as is offer from one of them pretty quickly. So you're downsizing and you're looking for a single story home. Single story homes are the hottest commodity right now in Southern California. Downsizing baby boomers like yourself want them. Millennials with one or no children want them. There's a lot of demand and very little supply. But there is good news. You may have the upper hand when competing against multiple buyers for that single story property. What do I mean? Well, if you have lived in your home for 20 or more years, you likely have a lot of equity in that home. So much that you may actually be able to be an all-cash buyer when shopping for your replacement. Ask your listing agent for a net sheet. This will tell you how much you will net on the sale of your current home. Then you will know if you're in a position to be an all-cash buyer on the replacement. And who knows, maybe you want to keep a small mortgage on that replacement property. I would still consider using all cash to at least purchase the property and then get the mortgage on the home after you've closed. In a competitive environment, this will give you the upper hand. This next one is super important and it affects people of all ages, and that is wire fraud. It is on the rise. Sadly, it is more common than ever right now. There's even a disclosure for it that you will sign. What is happening is scammers are hacking into escrow companies' emails and sending you false wire instructions because it is coming from the right email address, or even just an email address that looks similar enough that you don't catch it. You end up wiring your money to a scammer. Horrible, right? It's very easy to prevent though. This is what you need to do. Before wiring any money, pick up the phone and call the person or the company that sent you those wire instructions. Let them know that you're at the bank, you're ready to initiate your wire, but before you do, you want to confirm the wiring instructions. Don't worry, the escrow companies are actually hoping that you do this, so when you call them, it will not be, a weird or out of place request that you're making. Ask them to read the wire instructions and the account numbers back to you. Don't read the numbers to them and ask them to confirm. This will ensure that you're sending your money to the right person. If you're selling your house and you're signing a listing contract, you're going to notice that there is no longer any mention of buyer's agent commissions. In fact, this is one of the major changes in 2024. In the past, I would have sat down with a seller and explained that my fee for selling their home is 2 bananas. And with their permission, I'm going to share one of those bananas with the buyer's agent that brings a buyer for the property. That is no longer how things are happening. What is happening now is you are negotiating with the listing agent that 1 banana that you will pay them for selling your home. That will be written into the listing contract. And then as you begin to receive offers from buyers, expect to see requests that you, the home seller, pay for the buyer's agent's fee. This will not always be the case, but so far what I have seen is that buyer's agents are asking for the seller to pay for their fee or their banana. You can agree, you can disagree, you can negotiate. The point is you are no longer deciding in advance how much you're willing to pay a buyer's agent. You're deciding that after offers begin to roll in. My advice, regardless of how you feel about this situation, be open to any and all offers. At the end of the day, what you care the most about is that net number, that net total of dollars that you will make from the sale of your home. That is the big picture. A lot has changed in the real estate industry. Let me know down below in the comments what was the most surprising change that you learned from this video. My name is Grant Lightfist, Ventura resident and realtor. If you have any questions about the local real estate market or just the community at large, give me a shout. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.